I'm going to tell you about the most embarrassing, awkward, humiliating piano story ever. It happened to me after 7 years of practice. Watch this video to make sure it never happens to you. Because it involves something your teacher probably isn't teaching you. It's a skill that some people see as kind of mystical or magical, but it's actually really simple to learn once you know the step-by-step process. And how this simple skill led me from complete and utter embarrassment to what I like to call the piano glory life, where you get paid to do gigs doing live shows, where I amassed over 800,000 YouTube views, which is actually not as hard as you might think, and over 9,000 Instagram followers, which led to what I like to call the mini celebrity effect. And I'll tell you all about that in a little bit. How I got a girlfriend playing piano, went from the awkward kid in high school to the life of the party, and most importantly, how I gained confidence in myself by learning this skill. And I want to show you exactly how you can do the same, just with a little bit of practice. But first, onto the story. So I really can't believe I'm about to tell you this because it's really embarrassing, but here goes nothing. So back in college, I was at this get together at one of my friends' places, and at this point, none of my friends knew I played piano yet. I was spending a couple hours a day in secret in the practice rooms, practicing and honing my skills. It was kind of my little secret. And then there happened to be this girl at this party, and I had a huge crush on this girl. And I happen to know that, like a lot of girls, she really had a thing for musicians. You know, she'd always be talking about some band that she was in love with, or a singer, or a guitar player, or a piano player that she was just in love with. And somehow at the party, it came up that I recently switched my major to music. And that's when things start to get a little bit interesting. I casually mention I play piano, and the whole energy of the room changes. One girl goes, "I have a keyboard in my room." Everybody is saying it. "You have to play a song for us." Of course. And I'm trying to act nonchalant about it, even though, like, in my mind, I'm about to blow their minds. And to be honest, I've been kind of waiting for this moment for a little while. So I see the girl I have a crush on out of the corner of my eye, and she has kind of an intrigued, surprised look on her face, like, "Oh, this guy plays piano? Like, I didn't know that." So we all go to her room, everybody's crowding around the piano, and I sit down on the bench, and everybody's eyes are on me. There's this energy in the air. It's absolutely exhilarating. And I'm about to play, and it hits me. I don't have my sheet music. I say, "Wait, I can't play without my music." And the energy in the room deflates like the air out of a balloon. And then came the most awkward, humiliating silence of my life. Nobody said anything, but I could see it on their faces. They're all thinking the same thing. "Really? You switched your major to music, and you can't even play one simple song on piano." Now I was that guy. I was that one friend that talks a lot of games, says a lot of stuff, but doesn't deliver. Nobody wants to be that guy. It was honestly utterly humiliating. And 90% of piano players have this major problem. It's a huge gap in their musical ability, and I had this problem too. I was stuck to my sheet music. The way I was brought up, and the way everybody is brought up nowadays, you learn to read sheet music only. And let's really think about the problem with that for a second. Reading sheet music is essentially copying. That's all it is. You're copying note for note somebody else's music. Imagine any other field. Have you ever actually learned by copying? Like, did you learn public speaking by reciting other people's speeches word for word? Of course not. You use principles from other people's speeches to create your own speech so you actually understand the concept. In art class, did you learn by trying to copy famous paintings brushstroke by brushstroke? Of course not. You may have looked to other paintings for inspiration, but at the end of the day, you create your own piece of art. So why? That's my question. Why is piano any different? Well, guess what? It's not. Here's the problem. It's just every piano player has been brought up reading music. So when they become teachers, they teach the way they're always taught. Like, a lot of teachers don't even know how to play by ear. So of course they're going to teach readings, sight reading music. And nobody actually thinks about why we're learning to sight read. And learning this way could hurt your playing in the long run. Think about it. When you read music, when you read sheet music, do you actually understand what's going on? Or do you just know that this note comes after that note? Honestly, that when I was learning to read music, that's all I knew. I never understood the music. And it's the main reason for memory slips and performance anxiety. If you're memorizing just a string of notes, one little slip up is going to spell disaster because you're not going to be able to get back on track. But if you actually understand the concept behind the music, you can just get right back on track super easily. And honestly, like think about this. How much time of your life have you spent looking at music, looking at little notes on a page, looking at ink blots on a page instead of hearing the music, feeling the music, understanding the music? And that's why I want to teach you how to play piano by ear. And although it seems like, magic or some mystical quality, it's actually a lot simpler than it seems. Well, once you know how it works. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works. But first, I have to finish the story. So as I walked home from the party, I was, absolutely licking my wounds. I felt so pathetic. 7 years of piano lessons, I couldn't even play one simple song on piano. It felt like I just wasted that 7 years of my life. So I was determined at this point to learn how to play by ear. I was determined to get redemption. So I started with songs from my iPod, and I tried to figure it out on piano. I'd sit there in the practice room out for hours, just listening over and over and over to the same song. And I get a few of the melody notes. Well, I think they're the right notes. Maybe not. I can't really tell. And then try to figure out the left-hand notes? No way in hell. It was so hopeless. It seemed impossible. I was just wasting even more time. Thoughts started going through my head. Maybe I just don't have the knack for playing by ear. Or maybe some people have it and some people just don't. And then one day, one simple event changed everything. And it transformed the way I thought about music. So I was signed up for next semester's classes, and one class caught my eye. Oral Skills 101, an introduction to ear training. Let's just say I was very interested. So I signed up, and from the first class on, I was blown away. This was exactly what I was looking for. It took the concepts of playing by ear and broke them down into simple, structured exercises. And then the exercises gradually got more complex, so each step was just a tiny bit harder than the previous one. It made playing by ear simple. And after a month or two of the class, I turned on the radio and I could recognize the pitches. It was crazy. I felt like Neo in the Matrix. It was like I could see the sound in the air and picture exactly where it was on the keyboard. The minute I got home, I'd rush over to the piano and play the songs from the radio from my car. And honestly, it felt really cool. It felt like I had some kind of, piano superpower. Now, there's more to that story. I'll get to that in a bit. But first, I want to show you how to enter the piano matrix, where you can hear a song and pinpoint and analyze each individual note in your mind. You can see the inner workings of the music. Let me prove it to you that you can learn to play by ear. If you can do this one simple exercise, you can learn to play by ear. So here's how it works. Imagine for a second, instead of 88 keys, there's only 3. So let's say we numbered these notes 1, 2, and 3. It's C, D, and E. We're going to number them 1, 2, and 3. Could you play by ear if you knew these were the only 3 notes in a song? Let's find out. So I'm going to play something and try to determine which notes I'm playing using the numbers 1, 2, and 3. Then write down your answer. It'll look something like this. 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, or this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. All right, here we go. I'm going to play something. All right, I'm going to play it one more time, just in case you missed it, and I want you to write down, using the numbers 1, 2, and 3, your answer. All right, so the answer is 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1. So 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1. Did you get it right? If so, you can play by ear. And check this out. What if I told you you just learned to play part of a real song by ear? Recognize this song? Say something, I'm giving up on you. It's just simply the song Say Something by Great Big World. So you just learned to play that by ear in 5 seconds, you know? And I know what you're thinking. Well, yeah, well, that's only 3 notes. Obviously, that's super easy. Well, let me show you how it works. So first you learn these 3 notes, and this is what I learned in that oral skills class. You learn these 3 notes, but you learn them super well. And I'll show you how to learn them really well in a second. But then you just add a couple more notes. So now you're learning 5 notes. But this will be easy because you've already learned 1, 2, and 3 really well. So you're really only learning 2 new notes. So it's really easy to learn. Then you add a couple more notes. Then you add a couple more notes. And next thing I know, you're playing the whole keyboard by ear. Okay, now let me show you how to drill in each set of notes into your mind the right way. All right, so here we are at Piano University, and I'll tell you all about Piano University in a second. But basically, here's how it works. So here's the ear training course, and right now we're on major keys, scale degrees 1 through 3, meaning the notes 1, 2, and 3, like we just learned. So how you learn it is you watch the video, and it'll show you how to learn the notes. And then there's going to be some key points from the lesson, just in case you forgot something. And then there's an exercise. And the exercise is really important. It basically takes every combination of 3 notes. So for example, this one is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. So it takes every combination of notes and you play the audio file. This is like a little audio file blip. And then you sing it back and then you play it on piano and it starts drilling all these little patterns into your mind. So that way you don't just know scale degrees 1 through 3, but you know them super well. And then there's a PDF, a checklist that's going to help you. And then this is the important part. There's going to be a quiz on every section to test your knowledge. So here's the quiz on scale degrees 1, 2, and 3. Click here. And then there's also going to be a little action step at the end that's going to tell you exactly the next thing you need to do to start taking action on this and start learning this stuff. All right, so let's go to the quiz. So here's how the quiz works. This is a quiz on scale degrees 1 through 3. So there's going to be 2 types of questions. The first type is going to be a piano question. So it's going to play you a little snippet of a piano file, and it's only going to use the notes 1, 2, and 3. And I'll get to why we're using numbers and not letter names in a second, but trust me, it's going to be easier to learn first with numbers. So here's an example. All right, so that's just 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. So you just type in 3, 2, 3, 2, 1 for your answer. If you still can't get this, you can go to the little hint and it'll tell you what note it starts on, and that'll make it a little bit easier. So then there's also going to be real song examples. So the real song examples are kind of examples of actual songs on the radio, but only using scale degrees 1 through 3. So here's an example. All right, so that's you found me, you found me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you'd click this one. And the importance of this is these will be a little tougher starting out, obviously, because you have to transfer the notes from singing to actual notes on the piano. So it's going to be a little tougher, but that's why we break it up and it's only using 1, 2, and 3. So it makes it a lot easier. And then how it works is if you go up to the ear training course, there's going to be, this is scale degrees 1 through 3, but there's also going to be scale degrees 1 through 5. So that's the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's just a couple more numbers. And then there's a couple more lessons, and then scale degree 7. And then 1 through 5 going down, and then the full major scale where you're actually learning all the notes of the scale. So we're going to go into more depth in that website in a second. But first, I have to finish the story. And I want to tell you about what I like to call the piano glory life. So once I learned to play by ear, I could learn songs at incredible speeds. I'd hear a song and 2 minutes later, I'd be playing it. No more spending hours and hours working on small little chunks of sheet music. That's another little perk to playing by ear. I could make up the perfect arrangement of a song. I used to buy the cookie cutter sheet music, and it impressed nobody. It's the same old stuff they've heard hundreds of times, nothing new. And on top of that, it was never the right difficulty. This was the most frustrating thing for me. Sometimes it was way too easy to the point a kindergarten could play it. And the music was boring, and honestly, it wasn't making me any better as a piano player. Other times, it was overwhelmingly difficult. It'd be a ton of notes, and it would take me months and months and months to learn, and it just killed my motivation levels. And every time felt like I wasted my 595. And I wasn't improving as a pianist. That was the biggest thing. Then I learned to play by ear, and I could tailor the piece to the exact difficulty level I needed to improve. And more importantly, I could play it in my style. I could develop my own voice on the piano. No more being a copycat musician. Piano started to become fun again. It became creative. I actually looked forward to practicing instead of dreading it. And I would hop out of bed excited to practice. It was an awesome feeling. It's amazing how fast you can improve when you have that energy, that motivation, that excitement. It's like adding a 2x multiplier to each of your practice sessions. After a couple of months of practicing like that, my skills had improved tremendously. I went back home and my family was astonished at how much I'd improved. I didn't just play piano, I was good at piano now. Now, there's more to that story. I still want to tell you how I amassed over 800,000 YouTube views, which is really not as hard as you might think. And I want to tell you about how playing by ear can lead to what I like to call the mini celebrity effect. Oh, and I have to still tell you what happened from the girl from the party. But first, I want to show you another little trick how using clues and just knowing a little music theory can help you tremendously in playing by ear. All right, so let's go back to the keyboard. There are 88 keys on the piano. But if you know a little bit about music theory, you'll know there's really only 12 different notes. Then the notes simply repeat. If you don't understand this, don't worry, I'll show you exactly how to learn theory in a little bit. So now we're only down to 12 possible notes. But what if we could narrow it down even further? Well, guess what? If you know what key the song is in, and if you know about keys and what keys are, you can eliminate even more possibilities. So for example, if we're in the key of C, we know it only contains the white notes. So we can narrow it down to just 7 possible notes. But what if we could narrow it down even further? Well, if we know the song starts on a C major chord, we know it most likely contains mostly the notes C, E, and G. So now we're playing by ear, we're only picking from 3 notes because we know our theory, so we've narrowed it down to just C, E, and G for possible notes. And that makes it a lot easier, huh? So how do you learn theory? It's actually really easy to learn, but the problem is nobody learns it in the proper order. The problem is most people try to learn it by piecing together kind of random website articles, blogs, YouTube videos, etc. And that won't work because you have to learn the fundamentals before you learn the complex stuff. If you try to learn it in the wrong order, it's not going to work. In other words, don't learn algebra before you learn your times tables. And I know that sounds obvious, but tons of people, including me, have made this mistake and make this mistake all the time. So let me show you how to learn it the right way. So here we are back at Piano University, and as you see up here in the tabs, there's also a music theory course, which has, first you go through the music theory basics, and it starts you right from the note names. So we'll go to that lesson in a second, but I want to show you all the rest of them. So basically, these are all the fundamentals, or the building blocks of music theory. You have to learn these before you try to learn the advanced stuff. So it starts you literally from the beginning, the intro note name. So if you've never played piano before, you could actually learn this. And if you have, and you already know half of this stuff, you can kind of hop in wherever is the point where you don't know the next thing. And then once you take all the basics lessons, there's going to be a midterm. And a midterm is just going to be a little test that analyzes how well you know all the music theory basics to make sure you know them so you can go on to music theory application. And application is the section where it takes all those fundamentals you learn and it starts applying them to real songs and real things you're actually going to be playing. And then there's a final exam to test, okay, do I really know all this theory stuff? And once you pass the final exam, you know, okay, I'm good for theory. So let's look inside exactly what these lessons look like. So if we went to the note names, which I already clicked on, there's going to be a little intro, and this video is going to show you, actually be the teaching video, and it's going to teach you how to learn the notes. And then there's going to be the key points in case you forgot some stuff. And here's the important part. It's going to be exercises. Because what I realized is when people teach you stuff, you don't actually learn when they teach you something. You don't learn something until afterward when you do an exercise on it. Like think back to math class when a teacher would be telling you something on the board and it'd be making sense in your head the whole time they're teaching it. But then the minute they say, okay, here's your homework, and you just have this blank page with a question on it. You have no idea what to do. And that used to happen to me all the time, and it was so frustrating. And what I realized is you don't actually learn this stuff until you do exercises on it. So after the teaching video, there's going to be exercises. So this is going to be a flashcards video, and I tried to pick exercises that not only help you learn this stuff, but help you learn it fast, help you learn it in the most efficient way possible, so you can just drill it into your brain fast. And this lesson actually has 2 exercises, and this is going to be a little online exercise to make it even easier. And then there's going to be a couple of PDFs that you can download. They'll have the note names written out, so you can print it off if you want. You can put it in your binder. And there's going to be a quiz. I'll show you the quiz real quick. It's similar to the ear training quizzes. And then, of course, there's going to be an action step. And the action step is going to tell you what to do exactly right now to learn this thing for theory. So if you go to the quiz, it's very similar to the ear training quiz. There's just going to be questions. And this is the note name quiz, so it's going to show you a note. And you're going to say, okay, this is G. And then there's going to be hints, obviously, just like the ear training. If you can't get this note, to help you figure it out. You go through them all, and then there's a submit quiz at the bottom. And the nice thing about this is if you get something wrong, you can go back and you can figure out exactly what you got wrong, so you know what you have to work on for the next time. And you simply go through all these lessons, and once you get through all the lessons, you're going to be a, music theory genius. You're going to be a music theory master. And it's going to help you tremendously in learning to play by ear. All right, so I have one more cool trick to teach you guys, and it's how we went from taking a couple hours to learn a song by ear to learning one in 5 minutes or less. And it's this crazy trick I learned. And I'll get to that in a bit, but first, I have to finish the story, because this is where things start to get very interesting. After I learned to play by ear, one day I went to Walmart and picked up a small tripod and a little $50 camera, and I started recording piano videos. And it didn't take me long, 5 minutes to learn a song at most, throw it up in iMovie and upload it to YouTube. And they absolutely blew up. My videos would get, 20,000 views, 40,000 views, 70,000 views on one video. It was crazy. And next thing I knew, I had 800,000 views on YouTube. It was nuts. I woke up every morning, my inbox would be full of, comments, messages, subscribers. It felt so cool. And it was so fulfilling knowing the impact I had on people playing piano. And I got I'd get great comments for people that just love my music and asking when the next video is coming out and all that kind of stuff. And I know it sounds like I'm bragging right now, but I really do have a confession to make. I'm not the best piano player on YouTube. Not even close. There's a lot of people that are way better at me at piano. So why did my channel blow up when there are better pianists and their videos aren't blowing up at all? Simple. Because I don't use sheet music. I make the music my own, and you can too. It's not that hard. In fact, it's a lot simpler and less time consuming than learning page after page of copycat sheet music. And people are sick and tired of hearing the same old renditions of sheet music. And they want something fresh, something new, a new spin on things. They want to hear you, your emotions, your fears, your hopes, all packaged up in your music. They're sick of copycat musicians. They want to hear you. And piano helped me become me. And that's why my YouTube channel blew up like it did. And it can for you too. And let me tell you how. And I don't talk about this much. It's kind of embarrassing, to be honest, but I was the most awkward kid at my high school. Seriously. I wasn't confident in myself. I was really shy. I didn't talk much. And every party I went to, I would always be the wallflower, the guy sitting at the wall, just kind of watching the party happen, because, I wasn't confident. And it sucked. And I thought it was going to be like this the rest of my life. But then a curious thing started to happen. As I got better at piano, my confidence level started going up. And then what I call the mini celebrity effect started to happen. And I'll tell you more about that later. And my confidence went through the roof. As my channel got bigger and bigger, people started asking me to collaborate. And I got the opportunity to work with musicians like Hannah Bethel, Victoria C. Vector, even Derek Fredrickson, the lead singer of Normal Fox, actually asked me to do a video with him. It was incredible. And my Instagram account blew up, and in a few months I had 9,000 followers. And people started treating me almost like a celebrity. That's what I call the mini celebrity effect. I'm not a celebrity. I just have like a lot of views on YouTube, but I'm not by no means a celebrity. It was crazy though, because people start treating you like one. And people I would ask me, when I was going on tour and seeing old friends, everyone would be asking me questions about my life, and they were actually interested in my life. And at family gatherings, everybody would be talking about the new video I put up or whatever. And a funny thing starts to happen when everybody starts treating you like this. You automatically develop confidence in yourself. You can't not be confident when everybody's treating you like that. And now the only challenge is not becoming arrogant, which, I had no problem with. Just try to be humble. And playing by ear gave me more than just piano skills. It really did change my life for the better. And it gave me the confidence to be me and not always be worried about what people are thinking of me. And I want to help you do that too. And that's why I created Piano University. And Piano University, it's a video lesson website designed to teach you to play by ear. It incorporates ear training, music theory, technique, and a step-by-step training plan to help you learn piano by ear. So let me show you how it works. All right, so we're back to the site, and basically there's 4 different courses. There's the Supercharge course, which if you've read my book, Supercharge Your Piano Practice, it's basically how to learn way more music in less time, how to use little mental loopholes and accelerated learning techniques to learn stuff fast. So there's lessons on all that stuff. Then there's the music theory course, music theory basics, that we went already over this whole thing. The ear training course, all these lessons, and then the technique course. And the technique course is going to give you a little technique booster workout you do before every practice session. It's a 10-minute thing you do, and it's going to just ramp up your technique to that next level. And all these lessons take you literally from the beginning. So if you've never played piano before, they will take you from square one, exactly what I teach my students when I actually teach lessons. And this is actually why I started this, because I'd be teaching lessons and realizing all my students are having the same difficulties, and I'm giving them all the same little exercises and the same drills to overcome all those little, problems they're having. So why not just make video lessons, and I can help way more people than I could help just, by giving lessons in person. And the only problem with video lessons and learning this way is it's tough, because if you have a problem, you can't just ask me. You have to figure it out on your own. But that's why I wanted to make this as much like real piano lessons as I could. And that's why if you ever have problems with any of the lessons, you don't understand the theory, and the theory section is going to be one, I guarantee you, if you go through the whole thing, even me explaining it as best as I can, there's still going to be times where you're like, okay, I still don't get this. I still need a little help. No problem. You just have to hit this contact me button, and it's going to go to a page where there's a little form to fill out. You just put in your name, you put in your email, and you type in, exactly what problem you're having and what you need help with. And when you hit submit, it's going to send me an email, and I'll email you back within, 24 hours, maybe 48 hours if I'm really busy or something. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to learn and exactly clarify whatever your problem is. So no matter what, I want to make sure I'm helping you guys learn. So that's what Piano University is all about. It's all about going from nothing to playing by ear. And the nice thing, if you already have some piano experience, you can get through these lessons even faster. You might be able to skip the note names, whole and half steps. You might be able to go all the way to, major, minor chords, or you may be able to skip some lessons and really accelerate your learning process. So here's all the benefits to Piano University. 1, you can learn to play by ear without sheet music. Save money on sheet music, The step-by-step video lessons, they'll show you exactly how to do it without frustration. Remember, we talked about they go up incrementally, so there's not going to be frustration where you have so much to learn. You just learn step by step. 2, it's going to help you express yourself. And no more being a copycat musician and just copying sheet music. Instead, you become the musician that others want to copy. You become the musicians that people see your video and they say, hey, where can I get the sheet music for that? I want to learn how to play like you. And it can help you get a girlfriend or boyfriend. And piano, honestly, is the most romantic instrument. Everybody kind of knows that, especially when you can play their favorite song by ear. When they can say, oh, do you know this song? And you can learn it within 2 minutes and be playing it. That's really, it's really a nice little trick to have. And I'll tell you more about that a bit. That's part of this story. I'll finish the story in a bit. 4, you can get unstuck. And what I mean by this is it's really hard to stay motivated when you're playing songs you hate, or even if you're playing songs you like, but the sheet music isn't in the style you want. So when you can truly express yourself and play how you want to play, motivation will never be a problem. And 5, what I like to call the mini celebrity effect. And I told you guys about this. Become the person your friends and your family are talking about. And be the life of the party whenever there's a piano around. And have people actually be interested in you and be asking you, when's the next video coming out? What else can you play by ear? How'd you learn to do this so fast? And it'll help you eliminate embarrassing memory slips. Stop learning note by note and start truly understanding the music. And songs are always going to be at the perfect level because you can make them at the perfect level. You don't have to scour the internet trying to find the sheet music that's not too easy, not too ridiculously hard. It'll be at the exact level you want it because you can kind of tailor it for yourself. And you have the power to make it the exact level you need. 8, become confident. Just like I told you, I went from the awkwardest kid in high school, like the huge nerd that never talked to anybody, and now I'm somebody who's really confident in myself, and that's one of the biggest things, honestly, for me, that one of the biggest benefits to learning to play by ear. 9, join a band. Now I'll tell you, this is a blast, playing gigs with your buddies and actually getting paid for it. And I'm telling you, if you're joining a band, no band is gonna say, here's your sheet music. That's not a thing. Like if you join a band, they're gonna say, hey, it goes something like this, and you're gonna have to figure out how to play with it. And that's why you have to learn to play by ear if that's one of your goals. And more about getting paid in a minute. That's a whole nother topic I want to tell you guys about. And to number 10, the no student left behind policy. Remember, if you still don't understand something after the video, the exercises are gonna help, or the quizzes, or the key points, or the PDF downloads. And if you still don't understand it after all of that, no problem. Just email me with that little contact form button I showed you guys. Whatever your question is, I'll answer it. I'll be your own personal kind of piano coach throughout this whole process. You can't not learn. If you ever have a problem, I will fix it for you. Oh, and there's one other huge benefit, and I haven't even mentioned this one, but it's kind of a cool little thing. Maybe the biggest benefit of all to some people. And you probably haven't thought of it yet. And I'll tell you what it is in a minute, but first, I still have to finish the story from all the way from the beginning. So I know what you're thinking probably right now. Whatever happened to you and that girl from the story? So I wish I could say there's this like big moment where I redeemed myself and there's another party and I played her favorite song, I swept her off her feet and all that stuff. But the truth is, she ended up transferring schools. I never saw her again. It just, wasn't in the cards. But let me tell you an even better story about piano and a girl. So this one day, it's over the summer, I'm sitting there on my couch, literally just watching TV. And I get a text from this mysterious number. Hey. That's all it says, just hey. I'm intrigued, let's just say that. And so I send back hey. And a minute later, I get a text back. I saw your YouTube videos. I absolutely love your playing. Smiley face. Interesting. So I text back, thanks, who is this by the way? And she says, this is Tori. I'm friends with Katie. She showed me your videos and gave me your number, haha. I know it's kind of random. Turns out my friend Katie had given her friend my number and she has a thing for piano players. 17 texts later, we're on a date. Here's a girl I never met, never talked to before, and we ended up in this amazing long-term relationship all because of piano. It would have never happened if I hadn't learned to play piano by ear. Being able to play by ear, it's opened the door for so many opportunities for me. And it can for you too. But first, let me tell you about this huge benefit I was talking about before. Guess what? You can make a lot of money if you can learn to play by ear. No, really. Forget about that starving artist stereotype. This doesn't apply to people who can play by ear. I'll show you how. Let's run some numbers. The average cost of a piano lesson, according to takelessons.com, is between $15 and $40. So if we take the average of that, you can charge $27 per lesson. That's what I charge for lessons. So that's $27 an hour, right? Nope, even better. That's for a half-hour lesson. So that's 27 times 2, $54 an hour. Let's say that again. $54 an hour to work from home. Not only that, but one of the best ways to learn something is to teach others. So that's $54 an hour getting paid to learn piano even better yourself. And if you're worried about how to teach, no problem. you'll have this entire piano university training course laid out step by step. So you can just go through the steps and that's how you teach. In fact, you could even let them use your account to practice between lessons if you want. Think about that. Like, how many teachers are going to say, hey, I have this whole online training course that you have access to, as a student? In the world where most teachers are still using the outdated, method books, you'll be teaching in a way people actually learn today. People don't learn anymore by that old school stuff. People want a multimedia experience when they learn. And that's just only the tip of the iceberg. You can also play at weddings where you're going to get 100 to 300 an hour. You can play gigs with a band, $20 to $50 an hour plus tips, which is a blast, by the way, if I haven't told you before. You can play for a church or a choir, that's 50 to 300 bucks an hour. You can play lounge music, that's 20 to 40 bucks an hour plus tips. You can play holiday parties, that's 20 to 75 bucks an hour plus tips. So let's do an example and actually run some real numbers. So let's say you have 28 students. That's 27 bucks an hour times 28. You're making 750 bucks a week for 14 hours of total work. Remember, 28 students, half-hour lesson, so that's 14 hours of work. Then you also play 2 church services a week. That's $100 times 2. That's $200 for 2 hours of work a week. Because once you can play by ear, you'll be able to learn these songs, super fast. And you can also play background music at a restaurant once a week. It's 30 bucks times 4 if you do, 4 hours, plus $30 in tips. That's another $150 for 4 hours of work. So in all, you're only working. This is if you're considering playing music working. I consider it something that's fun. And 14 hours for lessons, 2 hours for church, 14 hours playing at a restaurant. That's 20 hours a week of work. And that's only as much as a part-time job, 20 hours a week. When did I mention that your job is getting paid to have fun playing piano? So now here's the fun part. Let's calculate the income you're making from all this. So lessons plus church plus restaurant, you're making 756 bucks a week from lessons, 200 bucks a week from church, 150 bucks a week from restaurant, which equals $1,106 a week for 20 hours of work. Whoa, think about that. For a part-time job, you're going to make $1,106 a week. So that's $4,424 a month, which is $57,000 a year. Or you can work 40 hours, double the hours a week, and make $57,512 times 2, over $100,000 a year. That's 6 figures. Whoa. Pretty good for a musician, huh? And that's not even counting extra money you can make doing weddings, gigs with bands, Christmas parties. This is what I refer to as the piano glory life, where you make money doing something you love and not wasting hours of your life doing something you hate, where you have a blast playing gigs with your buddies in a band, where you can learn songs in minutes instead of hours, become the talk of your friends and family, in other words, the mini celebrity effect I was talking to before, have rock solid confidence in yourself, and my personal favorite, waking up to emails from others thanking you for how you inspired them, how you've helped them. That's the real benefit to me. That's the thing that's more important to me than, the money, fame, pride, any of that kind of stuff. All I'm wondering is, who else is ready to start living the piano glory life? Now, I paid $8,000 a year to go to school and learn from the best. I had a teacher that played at Carnegie Hall. I had a bunch of professors that have spent years of their life learning music. It took me 5 years to graduate. It cost me over $40,000 in tuition fees. But obviously, I'm not going to charge you $40,000 for piano university. I charge 27 bucks a week per lesson. And you can have access to all my lessons for, you guessed it, 27 bucks a week. Think of it as an alternative way of learning piano, where you can get way more lessons than just one lesson a week, and you can really, learn stuff faster. You can get full access to all the video lessons, quizzes, exercises, PDFs, and access to email anytime you need help for only $27 a week. Or if you just want access to the theory and the ear training course, you can get full access to those for just $17 a week. So if you want everything from the whole training course, it's going to cost you $27 a week, which has a theory and everything. If you just want music theory and ear training, then it's $17 a week. In fact, Think about it like this. If you got just one piano student, the average price of a lesson is $27. So you'd cover your costs completely. Or if you were just doing the theory and the ear training course, you'd actually be up $10. Plus, unlike normal piano lessons, you can learn at your own pace. When life gets busy, you can just take a week off if you want without the judgment of a piano teacher. And when you have a lot of extra time, you can just go through the lessons as fast as you can handle them. So click the button down below now and you can be starting your piano journey within minutes. But I'm only accepting the first 80 students who enroll in Piano University. Why? As I said before, I want to be with you every step of the way, and I want to respond to every email you send me and help you out, within 24 hours, maybe 48 hours at the most. And if I had more than 80 people, I wouldn't be able to get through all the emails, and I wouldn't be able to help you and be with you there personally through this journey. So click the button below and enroll now before it fills up. I'm not sure how many spots are left, but they're probably going to go pretty fast. Oh, and one more thing, I guarantee you'll learn to play by ear. If you feel like you're not getting anything out of the course, email me within 30 days. I'll give you a full refund on it. I don't want to take your money if you're not learning. So within 30 days, if you're not getting it, I'll give you all your money back. Oh, and even if you decide to get the refund, you can still keep all the downloadable PDFs from the course for free. So there's no risk on your part. That's how confident I am that I can help you. So click the button below and get instant access to Piano University. Like I said, I'm only opening this up to the first 80 people who sign up. So click the button below now, start your journey to the piano glory life.